There is a moment in this story that you need to hear in full, not paraphrased, not summarized, in full, because no description of it does justice to what it reveals about the relationship between the man running the world's most powerful football organization and the supporters that organization is supposed to serve. In early May, at a business conference in Beverly Hills, the president of FIFA was asked about reports that tickets for the 2026 World Cup final were appearing on its organization's own official resale platform for $2.3 million each, per seat, 4 seats listed at that price, behind the goal at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on the official FIFA ticketing website. He laughed, and then he said this: "If some people put on the resale market some tickets for the final at $2 million, number one, it doesn't mean that the tickets cost $2 million. Number two, it doesn't mean that somebody will buy these tickets. And if somebody buys a ticket for the final for $2 million, I will personally bring him a hot dog and a Coke to make sure that he has a great experience." A hot dog and a Coke. That was the president of FIFA's response to $2 million World Cup final tickets appearing on his organization's own platform. He laughed, he joked, he offered a hot dog at a conference in Beverly Hills, in front of an audience of billionaires and business executives. And then he said fans should chill about the ticket prices. And then, on the day the tournament opened, when asked about Omar Artan, the CAF Referee of the Year sent home from Miami Airport after 11 hours of questioning, he told the people asking to chill and relax about that too. Chill, relax, hot dog and a Coke. This is the leadership voice of FIFA at the 2026 World Cup, and the fury that has greeted it, from supporters across the world, from fan organizations, from legal authorities in 3 American states, from the UK Prime Minister, from a man who has traveled to 144 countries to watch football and still can't justify these prices. That fury is the story this script is going to tell in full. So, what's really happening here? And why has the gap between what the governing body's president is saying and what ordinary football supporters are experiencing become the defining tension of this tournament? Let's start with the numbers, because before we can understand why fans are furious, we need to understand what they are actually being asked to pay. At the previous World Cup in Qatar 2022, tickets ranged from $69 to $1,607. The cheapest seat available through official channels cost $69. That is the baseline from which everything that follows needs to be measured. At the 2026 World Cup, the cheapest seats available for group stage games have been running at an average of $553 on resale markets. Not at the top end of the market, the average cheapest available seat across all group stage games, $553. Compared to $69 4 years ago. That is an increase at the entry level of approximately 8 times. 8 times. Not for final tickets, not for premium seats, for the cheapest way into a group stage match. At the top end, the seats FIFA itself listed on its own official direct sales platform, the premium final ticket was set to $33,970. FIFA tripled the price of its own top-category final seats in the weeks before the tournament, not the resale market, FIFA's own platform. $33,970 for a seat at a football match. The same organization that runs programs to develop football in countries where the average annual income is under $1,000. $33,970 for one seat at one match. And then, the resale listings appeared at $2.3 million each on FIFA's own platform, because FIFA runs the official resale market and takes 30% of every transaction. FIFA receives 30% of $2.3 million if someone pays that price. The hot dog and the Coke would be a very affordable gesture from that particular commercial arrangement. The president's response to all of this, the laughter, the hot dog joke, the instruction to chill, the Beverly Hills conference, deserves to be examined with the seriousness it refuses to apply to itself. Because beneath the performance of casual confidence lies a specific argument, and that argument is worth dissecting carefully. His argument has 3 parts. First, he said the resale price of $2.3 million means nothing because nobody has to pay it. There are seats available nearby for $16,000. Second, he compared the prices to the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden, where get-in prices reached $10,000 for Game 3 between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. Third, he said 500 million ticket requests proved unprecedented demand, and that demand justifies price. He called it absolutely crazy. 300 years of World Cup tickets requested in 2 weeks. He was proud of that number. Let's take each argument seriously, because the fans who are furious deserve a response that engages with the actual claims rather than simply dismissing them. The resale argument is the weakest of the three. When FIFA's own official resale platform carries listings at $2.3 million, the governing body cannot simply observe that no one is obligated to pay that price. It built the platform. It set the rules of the platform. It takes 30% of every transaction on the platform. The existence of those listings on FIFA's own system is not something the market did independently of FIFA. It is something FIFA's system accommodated, sanctioned, and profits from. The president's response to questions about a listing on his own platform is not that the listing is inappropriate. It is a hot dog joke.
The NBA comparison is more sophisticated but ultimately flawed in a way that the fans responding to it have identified precisely. One supporter who has traveled to 144 countries to watch football put it plainly. A World Cup ticket isn't competing against other American sporting events. The World Cup belongs to the world. Its supporters come from Bangladesh and Bolivia and Benin, not just from cities where NBA finals are played. The NBA Finals ticket market operates within a specific, affluent American city. The World Cup ticket market is supposed to be accessible to the global football community. Comparing the two is not an argument, it is a deflection. The demand argument is the most revealing of the three, because the president cited 150 million ticket requests in 15 days as evidence that prices were justified. And this is where the institutional logic of FIFA's position becomes most clearly visible. 500 million requests, 150 million in 15 days. These numbers are real. The demand was genuinely extraordinary by any measure. But demand does not justify price in any straightforward sense when the product being demanded is the right to attend a cultural institution that belongs, in principle, to everyone who loves football. The World Cup is not a luxury good whose price should be set at whatever the market will bear. It is the game's most universal competition. Its legitimacy, its claim to represent football's global community, depends on its accessibility to the people who form that community. When the cheapest group stage seat averages $553 on the resale market, and when the previous World Cup's cheapest official ticket was $69, the message the price sends is not one of universal welcome. It is one of selective access. The demand was from everyone. The seats went to whoever could pay the most. Here's the interesting part, because the hot dog joke and the instruction to chill didn't land in a vacuum. They landed in a specific context that made each word more damaging than the president perhaps understood at the time. On the same day he told people to chill, the day before the tournament opened, he was asked about Omar Artan, and he told the people asking to chill and relax about that too. Within hours, UEFA had appointed Artan to the Super Cup final. The contrast between FIFA's president's instruction to chill and UEFA's president's statement that football is made to connect people was immediate, public, and noticed by millions of people who had been watching both institutions for months. The $60 tickets that were announced in December in response to the initial backlash were described by Football Supporters Europe and other organizations as mostly gone before general sale even opened. 130,000 tickets were made available in that category across the whole tournament. In a tournament of 6.5 to 7 million total tickets, 130,000 at $60 is less than 2% of total inventory. The gesture was acknowledged as a gesture. It was not treated as a policy. Joe Connor has attended football in 144 countries. He describes himself as the greatest football sports tourist in the world. He is exactly the kind of supporter whose passion for the game has taken him to stadiums that most people will never visit, in countries that most tourists will never reach. He looked at the 2026 ticket prices and made a specific calculation. He said the 4 to 5 figure prices were simply too expensive to justify. Not because he couldn't find the money, because the relationship between what was being offered and what was being charged had crossed a line that he, a man who has given his adult life to following football across 6 continents, was not willing to accept.
When someone with 144 countries of football attendance tells you the prices are too expensive to justify, you are not dealing with a complaint from someone unfamiliar with the cost of following the game. You are dealing with a verdict from someone who has paid every version of that cost across every version of that experience and who has concluded that this one is different, that the price is not a reflection of the game's value. It is a reflection of the institution's decision about how much it can extract. The UK Prime Minister weighed in. He praised the limited allocation of affordable tickets while explicitly urging FIFA to do more. A head of government publicly telling the governing body of football to do better on ticket prices, while simultaneously being careful enough to acknowledge the $60 gesture, is a measure of how far the political temperature around this issue had risen before the tournament even began. The legal authorities went further. The Attorneys General of New York and New Jersey subpoenaed FIFA. The Attorney General of California wrote formally. Their specific concerns, dynamic pricing raising average costs by 35% across 95 of the 104 matches, seat maps changing after tickets were sold, inventory managed in ways that created false impressions of scarcity, were not the concerns of politicians making a populist point. They were the concerns of legal authorities who reviewed the specific practices of the ticketing operation and concluded they warranted formal investigation. FIFA's president addressed those investigations too at the Beverly Hills conference. He said FIFA was very relaxed about the legal complaints because before starting to sell tickets, FIFA checked everything with the best lawyers and the best experts. He said if FIFA was doing something wrong, then probably everyone selling tickets in North America was doing something wrong as well. That response, which essentially argues that the legal investigations are without merit because FIFA's lawyers had checked, is precisely the kind of institutional self-confidence that legal investigations are designed to test from the outside. Think about what the full sequence looks like from the perspective of a supporter who simply loves football and wanted to attend this World Cup. You discovered the prices were 5 to 8 times higher than the previous tournament. You heard the president say demand was unprecedented and that this was the World Cup. You saw the $60 tickets appear and disappear before you could access them. You watched the resale platform carry listings at $2.3 million. You heard the hot dog joke. You heard the instruction to chill. You saw him say the same thing to the people asking about a Somali referee who spent 11 hours in an airport corridor. And you made a decision, the decision that 174,000 Dutch supporters made when they signed the petition, that 17,000 supporters made when they canceled their tickets, that the man who has been to 144 countries made when he said the price wasn't justifiable. You decided you weren't going. And the hotel rooms in Houston and Seattle have recorded that decision. The aviation booking data has recorded it. The 350,000 unsold Dallas tickets have recorded it. The empty sections visible in Guadalajara on the tournament's second night while FIFA's president sat in the stands have recorded it. The decision of millions of people who love football to watch this tournament from home rather than attend it in person has been recorded in every piece of data that has surrounded this World Cup since the moment the prices were first published. A hot dog and a Coke. That was the response. And what the fans are saying, in 174,000 signatures and 17,000 canceled tickets and hotel rooms that aren't filled and stadiums with visible empty sections, what they are saying, quietly and without a press conference or a Beverly Hills conference or a joke, is that they heard it and they're not laughing. If you found this worth your time, a like helps more than you'd think.
Subscribe if you enjoy thoughtful football coverage, and let me know your view in the comments.